You're feeling burned out. Your exhaustion is palpable, although you think you're hiding it. You double down on persistence because that's what you were trained to do, to get it done. But your internal battery is draining. I'll be right back. Well, good, glorious morning, everyone. I'm glad you're with me, whether you're live or on the playback. My name is Austin James Haynes. I went from 19 years with the same Fortune 500 company, and I quit in the middle of my best year, and I find myself as a poet. But I was also on a quota for 21 years. So today's topic is really going to hit home. Burnout, exhaustion, tired, stressed, anxiety. I was on a quota for 21 years and I felt those emotions many times. And had I not had the counter of that, where I felt progress, achievement, and excitement, I wouldn't have stayed for 19 years. But I do know that based on all the work, it was not my highest aspiration. Right. And so I want to talk about this today. And if you're joining on TikTok, good morning. If you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, good morning. What do you think is the opposite, the cure for exhaustion? What's the cure for it? What's the cure for exhaustion? Let me just throw it out there. Let's see if we can get some answers. Good morning, Joe. Joe is joining us on YouTube. Thank you, Joe, for being here. What's the cure for exhaustion and burnout? And I have a story I'm going to weave in. I have some poems we're going to share this morning. And then after, if you're on TikTok, you'll get some music. And I had the mug here. It's get free, stay present, and move forward. So for time purposes, I'm going to jump in here. And I want to let you know that what you think is the cure for exhaustion, you might say it's rest, go on a vacation. You might say, go to the spa, go get a massage. These are all answers that would be real, right? Hey, go get a massage. You're stressed. Go take some time away. But I was listening to, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. I was listening to David White. I discovered a poet named David White, who I'm going to be sharing more about. And he was talking about another poet named David Wagoner. Anyway, I won't share that story right now. But what I want to share was his story is relevant to mine. He was working for an organization and he was burned out. And he was asking his mentor about what do you say on exhaustion, which I liken to burnout. We got a comment coming in here on TikTok. No, it's getting away from your comfort zone. Okay, that's a great answer. So Granny Master P is saying it's getting away from your comfort zone. And I like that. And it's going to be in alignment with what we're going to get to here. He talked about what's exhaustion, what's the cure. And the mentor's answer was wholeheartedness. It's not rest. Wholeheartedness. So what I realized, and it rung the bell because before he talked about it, I was thinking misalignment. If you're not in alignment with what you're doing, you are going to experience burnout. Let me just grab some things I wrote down here today. Because you might think you're hiding it. Have you ever been on the job and you got a boss who's irritable and snappy, right? They're hiding it. They're trying to hide it. You can't hide. It says here, this is a Rumi quote, poem. Do not try to hide inside anger, radiance that cannot be hidden. Do not try to hide inside anger, radiance that cannot be hidden. What's radiance have to do with burnout? Because if you're forcing yourself to do something else, you become angry, irritable, exhausted, burned out. But the radiance is what your purpose is. It's getting in alignment. It's the burning off of all the peripheral noise and BS that you've allowed to infiltrate your space. And here I got some other things I wrote here. Where is that? Your exhaustion is, yes. And you might think it's persistence that you're doing it for, but lay aside caution. It cannot help thee against destiny. To worry with precaution is to toil and moil. Go, trust in providence, that trust in the better part of you. But what we do is we overly plan. We plan. Hello from the beautiful island of Guam. This is a first. We got Guam here on TikTok. Let's welcome in this Monday. Show up how you are. You're a hot mess. You're upset. You're anxious. You're excited. You're anticipating. Show up how you are. And what I wrote down is, where is it? Come on, Austin. I wrote this down. Let purpose supersede your plan. Let purpose supersede your plan. A mind preoccupied with planning pays homage to the idol of control. Listen to me and live abundantly. Listen to something deeper inside of you. And realize that persistence is not always the answer. Bosses won't be anything without employees, but how many bosses are misaligned? And then they're snappy and angry on the job. They think they're hiding it. They're not. You know what they're doing? They're following the plan. But the plan pays idol. It's an idol. A mind preoccupied with planning pays homage to the idol of control. Now, I know the opposite of this. What am I supposed to not plan? No, you're supposed to plan. But if you're preoccupied and obsessed with it, perhaps you have a need for certainty that is out of balance. And the goal, not the goal, the truth is to let that go and trust. Lay aside caution. It cannot help thee against destiny. To worry with precaution is to toil and moil. Go. Trust in providence. Trust in the better part. That's Rumi. That's from the Masnava, book 1. There's something in you that you're just not in touch with if you're burned out and you're exhausted. I was burned out from exhaustion, buried in the haze. That's Yeah, I'm going to play that song. It's a Bob Dylan song. So if you're on TikTok, we're going to play that. So we have somebody on TikTok, TDK Moats. Yeah, I don't believe that the boss always knows what is it. No, of course not. A matter of fact, I spent 19 years with the same Fortune 500 company. The best leaders, I don't even call them bosses, they're leaders. The best leaders are inclusive. The best leaders understand that whoever they're leading is a unit, and the best ideas can come from anywhere. But the problem is the ego gets involved, and the ego wants to take credit. And that's why a lot of bosses, they won't give credit to their people that they're leading. But if you really want to think about it, here's a great metaphor for you. This is my metaphor. Think about a king on a throne. Think about royalty. Think about the British crown, anything that has to do with royalty, hierarchy. You think about the king on the throne, right? The king sitting up on the throne, looking over all the people. Now, the ego goes, oh, yeah, I want to sit above everybody. But the great leaders, the great kings, the only reason why they're on the throne and elevated above the people is not to show their superiority. It's so that they have the vision to look out on the people and feel and see and know what's happening so that they can better serve the people. But that type of leader is an anomaly. That type of leadership is an anomaly. If you like this, please hit the screen. I really appreciate you being here. And if you like this, if you're getting some value, just tap that screen. But the hands-on experience is always the best. Hands-on experience is always the best. Yes, absolutely true. But sometimes we can sit in the lab. I was in sales, and there's this position where you were in the office because you're planning and doing all this stuff. But the best salespeople were out in the field. They were in the field, rolling up their sleeves, getting in front of people. Thank you, TDK Moats. Appreciate you following. I really appreciate that. This is work passionately to create this. I have other things to share here. I want to honor David White, who I shared his story, and he's a fellow poet out of Ireland, hails out of Washington in the States, but also in Washington, Ireland. And I just like this poem here. It's called Santiago. And this might be relative to the grappling with, you're dealing with anxiety, you're dealing with exhaustion, you're dealing with burnout, you're not in alignment with your work, but you feel handcuffed because you have a plan and you economically need to work. But maybe there's another way. And so this is called Santiago. The road seen, then not seen. The hillside hiding, then revealing the way you should take. The road dropping away from you as if leaving you to walk on thin air, and then catching you, holding you up when you thought you would fall. And the way forward, always, in the end, the way that you followed. The way that carried you into your future, that brought you to this place, no matter that it sometime took you your promise from you, no matter that it had to break your heart along the way. It's an excerpt from Pilgrimage by David White, Essentials. The road seen, then not seen. The hillside hiding, then revealing the way you should take. The road dropping away from you, as if leaving you to walk on thin air, then catching you, holding you up when you thought you would fall. And the way forward, always in the end, the way that you followed, the way that carried you into your future, that brought you to this place, no matter that it sometime took your promise from you, no matter that it had to break your heart along the way. Burned out, exhausted, your heart's broken. The road is seen, then it's not seen. There's this journey that the more you try to control it, the more uncontrollable it becomes. But somehow, and the way forward, always in the end, the way that you followed. But somehow, it was the way forward. So if you're finding this today and you're feeling burned out, exhausted, lost, hopeless, know that this is a part of it. And that when you feel like you're falling and you're in thin air, something will catch you and hold you up. And the call to action today is to, let's just simplify this. Be in touch with the feeling of exhaustion and burnout. Avoid thinking double down. What I've experienced in my own life, when I was burned out, exhausted, I would double down on the activities that got me there instead of stepping back, not so I can rest, although rest is important, but so that I could become in greater alignment with my purpose. And it took me a lot of this, everything he's talking about in this poem. And until I found myself in the middle of my best year, I was going to break my own personal financial income for a year. And just to give you some perspective, I'm not here to brag, but I want to just share, because there's people that make way more money than I did. But I didn't need to become a billionaire to realize that money's not the most important thing. Service to others is. But let's see, what would I have made that year? I would have made over $200,000 that year if I would have kept working. But I quit. I walked away. And I'm so grateful that I did. And sometimes I feel everything he's talking about this poem. The road is there, and then it's not. The hillside hiding. I can't see where I'm going. Then it shows up when I least expect it. I'm on the road, and I'm on the path, and the path disappears. I can't see it anymore. And it's leaving me to walk like I'm feeling lost. And then somehow, some way, something holds me up, keeps me going. And then when I thought I was going to fall, I'm picked up. And then what I do is when I reflect and I look back, I realize that the road that I've been on is the road. And that's an incredible revelation when you felt lost. And then all of a sudden you realize, no, that's the road I was supposed to be on. I felt that. Have you felt that? Let me see. Don't ever work in a place that you don't ever work in a place, have a chance to become what makes you right. What is your dream? That's TDK Moat here. What do you think? Why do you think they hire Mexicans? Yeah. Yep. I'm a chef in New York, and I know. So you're a chef in New York. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. What restaurant you want to give the restaurant? I would love to shout out the restaurant. Let me just see if anybody's here live. Yeah. Okay. You make $4,000 in an hour. That must be some nice restaurant. Are you selling products? What restaurant? I'd love to hear it if you want to shout it out. I've seen 111-777. It's going to be a great day. Come on, everybody. Come on. We can realign. We can embrace what we're feeling. We can embrace it all. We can embrace all of life. We can let life touch us. And remember, these are the good old days. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were saying, at some point in history, at some point in the future, we're going to look back on this and say, these were the good old days. And believe me, it happens now. I'm over a half a century, and I look back at my youth and I go, they were the good old days. But there was so much chaos, so many things going wrong. But what happens is we romanticize the past, as it gets further in the rearview mirror. Okay, we are about 20 minutes in. I'm going to end this right now on the LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm going to leave TikTok open. I got some music to play for you, and I'll share a little poem that I wrote this morning. We can share that, and just let me know if this is touching you. I'm working passionately at this. I want to touch you. I want you to feed your heart and soul. I have a book coming out. I don't have the flyer here. It's called Seeds of Infinitude, and I'm going to share the book. I'm going to share the journey. There might be a documentary. There's going to be lots of great content for you to take advantage of. I'm not against AI, but I want to stick with the real AI, which is authentic inspiration, authentic intelligence. To me, that's where we need to stay rooted in, and we can use AI as a tool to make the lives of other people better, for sure. But like anything, with great power comes great responsibility. And we have proven that we are not responsible collectively. So I'm going to end this live stream here on YouTube and LinkedIn. Thanks for being here. If you missed it, the recording will be up on YouTube. You can go watch it. This is all about burnout and exhaustion. The solution, the resolution is to be in alignment with your highest aspirations. As Rumi said, let's see. Lay aside caution. It cannot help you. It cannot help thee against destiny. Lay aside caution. It cannot help thee against destiny. To worry with precaution is to toil and moil. Go. Trust in providence. Trust in the better part. If you're feeling burned out, exhausted, and you don't know, what would it mean for you to be aligned with your heart and soul's purpose? Okay, we're going to end the YouTube stream here. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow with Cultivate Conscious Moments with Austin James Haynes, employee to poet.